Good evening. My name is Sierra Rhodes, and I'm going to share my screen. Put me down here. Alrighty. So this is my presentation about technology in contemporary times. So this is my rationale and explanation of the learning theory that I applied. So I decided um, to try a guided grounding video for my sixth grade classes. Um, and the reasoning I decided to do this was because I have noticed that at the end of the day, my students are very rowdy. They're usually bringing in drama from their social groups, a lot of chatter about what conflicts and challenges may be existing in those social groups, maybe even from a class that made them feel some type of way earlier in the day or recess, you name it, it's probably going to occur in these sixth grade classes. And so I wanted to find something that would help ground them and get them focused. And I noticed that my traditional warm up was not effective, but just kind of rowdy them up even more. So I implemented an interactive guided grounding video for them. Um, and this form of technology was selected because, like I said, I noticed them being rowdy. Um, and so what I observed, sorry, excuse me. And so the learning theory that backs with this is the social learning theory. And in essence, this theory focuses on the concept of children learning from observing others by acting or not acting on what they see exhibited by their classmates. And there's four elements to this theory. One includes attention, which calls upon different or unique lessons or activities to help children focus. Retention, focusing on how the student will internalize information and recall it later on. Reproduction, which is drawing on previously learned behavior and when it's appropriate to use it. And then lastly, motivation, which can extend from seeing other classmates being rewarded, or punished for their actions. And so this one really focused more on the attention component of it. So the guided learning video, it was real short. It was simple. It was 5 minutes, and it was perfect in replacement to the traditional warm up I was having them do. And so it just had them just use their five senses. So from sight, um, taste, smell, hearing, touch. It helped them focus on something other than what they may have brought to the classroom. So my current use of technology, before I implemented uh, this activity with my sixth grade classes, I haven't and hadn't been using technology a lot. I attempted to, probably once or twice in the semester last year and once at the beginning this year, but unfortunately the infrastructure in our gyms just does not support it. So myself and the other PE teacher, we both have a projector, but we put it on the cart and we wheel that cart out to the gym, and we have to use a long extension cord to plug it into the wall, so that it's able to connect to our work tablets, and then it's piped in. There is kind of a screen in our bigger gym, our main gym, and that was more like a makeshift screen, that was nailed to the wall, pretty high up on the wall, um, for the when most of our students, well, not most, when all of our students were remote, and so that was used for remote learning, but it's not a screen, a projector screen. There's a bad glare on it, and we have to turn off all the lights for students to see it. In the small gym, there's no screen at all. So oftentimes, if I use technology in there, I am casting the screen on the darkest part of the wall, which is our blue wall. Um, and it can be effective. However, sometimes I don't get connectivity from my tablet the pro- to the projector, and then it just becomes a safety hazard. From doesn't matter how many times I will explain the expectations of students being safe with the cord. Oftentimes they trip on it. Oftentimes there's been times when the has almost been knocked off of my cart. So I just find it that it's more cumbersome than anything to implement technology. So I have not used it as often as I would like to. But despite those challenges, I would like to integrate more. Um, I would love to find a grant that would support just upgrading our gyms so that we either have a smart TV we can wheel in, or just have the projectors and the screens like our classrooms do. Because our classrooms, we have smart boards, we have that fluid connectivity, but in the gyms we just don't. In addition to that, I would like to also find a grant to even purchase heart rate monitors. I think when students can see the feedback of, and understand how their heart rate um, is affected by physical activity, it just gives them that connection, especially when we talk about our standard 3 concerning the 5 components of physical activity, and cardiovascular endurance is one of them. They are able to make that connection when they actually see their heart rate increasing during the warm up or during the activity, and they're able to monitor it as it cools down. I think that'd be really nice to implement in the classrooms as well. So the process of teaching, so this was a guided video. So students were asked to just find space in the gym wherever they were comfortable at, and they were expected to turn their attention to the video. And so I just facilitated and made sure that they were staying on task, and then gave feedback if maybe they didn't understand something. But for the most part, most students stayed on task, and it was really cool seeing them engaged in that video and bringing something different to the classroom. So reflection. So as far as student learning, I think that technology serves a very effective role in classrooms and even in physical education. It's just the challenges of implementation when it comes to our infrastructure. Um, but I've observed it being effective um, in our elementary classes where it's supported, and even some other middle schools where they have a smart TV. It's just that our school does not have that support. As far as a couple of focus students, I did have a couple of students in mind when I implemented the interactive guided video. And they did well with it. And I did find that they weren't so honed in on the drama they may have brought with them in the classroom. It shifted their focus to something different. And it did last throughout, because after that we transitioned into our activity. So I did find it effective, and I would see myself doing something like this more often than not, because the biggest thing I want my kids to do is just to be present in class and leave and 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 try to leave whatever drama or just those peer dynamics that can negatively affect their attention and focus in class. I just want them to be active and have fun and kind of burn some of that energy off. That concludes my presentation about technology for Module 4 for ALTC 802, Planning for Instruction. Thank you.